Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Now, imagine a version of yourself that is no longer defined by fear, no longer chained to anxiety, no longer reacting to the past. What if I told you that version of you, your most empowered, peaceful, and present self, already exists? Science is proving something incredible, that our thoughts are not just reactions to our world, they are creators of it. Your brain, through repeated patterns of worry, stress, and fear, has wired itself to expect the worst. But the same brain, your brain, can rewire itself for peace, for clarity, for freedom. You are not your past. You are not your emotions. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness behind all of it. And today, I want to invite you into the truth that changed my life and the lives of thousands. Your mind can heal your life. This isn't wishful thinking. This is neuroplasticity. This is epigenetics. This is the beautiful, transformative power of aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy with a future you choose. Let's go deeper, because once you understand how to break the habit of being yourself, fear and anxiety will no longer be your identity. They'll just be memories of who you used to be. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer. This is one of the most liberating truths we can come to understand on our journey to healing fear and anxiety. For most of our lives, we've identified with the constant stream of mental activity that runs through our minds. Thoughts arise, emotions follow, and we react as if those thoughts are who we are. But the truth is, you are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. That simple shift in awareness begins the process of transformation. When you can step back and observe your thoughts rather than become them, you begin to break the automatic cycle that keeps fear and anxiety alive. Most people don't realize that their mind is running on autopilot, recycling the same fearful thoughts, the same limiting beliefs, and the same emotional responses day after day. These repetitive patterns create a familiar internal environment, and over time, this becomes your identity. But when you become the observer of those patterns, when you notice your thoughts without judgment, you introduce consciousness into the equation. That awareness alone is powerful. The moment you observe a fearful thought without reacting to it, you weaken its emotional grip. You start to reclaim the energy it once held over you. In neuroscience, this is the beginning of changing the wiring in your brain. The neural circuits that fire together wire together. So if every time you feel uncertain, your brain automatically fires a pattern of worry, your body will feel anxiety as if it were truth. But when you stop identifying with that thought and simply observe it, you interrupt that circuit. Over time, with consistent awareness, the brain begins to prune away those old patterns. You create space for new ones aligned with clarity, calm, and intention. Observing your thoughts doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It means watching them rise and fall like clouds in the sky without clinging to them or pushing them away. In this state, you're no longer in survival mode. You're no longer reacting from the past. You're choosing to witness, to learn, and to shift. This is where healing begins, not by fighting fear, but by recognizing that you are something far greater than the thought that created it.
The brain can be rewired through intentional focus. This is one of the most empowering discoveries in modern neuroscience, and one that holds the key to transforming fear and anxiety at their root. For much of human history, it was believed that the brain was fixed after a certain age, that personality traits and emotional responses were set in stone. But we now know this isn't true. The brain is neuroplastic, meaning it is constantly reshaping itself based on what you think, feel, and focus on. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you reinforce, every habit you perform, all of it is literally sculpting the structure of your brain. When we live in fear and anxiety, we repeatedly activate neural networks associated with stress, worry, and survival. Over time, these pathways become hardwired, making it easier for the brain to default to these emotional states. It's not that you're broken, it's that your brain has become incredibly efficient at producing what you've been unconsciously rehearsing. The good news is that you can consciously change this. You can train your brain to wire in new emotional responses, new thoughts, and new patterns that support peace, clarity, and resilience. It starts with intention. When you choose to focus on elevated emotions like gratitude, calm, or love, you activate different areas of the brain, specifically areas linked to healing, problem solving, and growth. The more often you bring your attention back to these higher states, the stronger those neural pathways become. You are, in essence, building a new internal map of reality. It doesn't require perfection, just repetition. The brain learns through experience, so when you mentally rehearse being calm in situations that once triggered you, you're teaching your brain a new way of being. Visualization, meditation, focused breathing, these are tools that help you focus intentionally and reinforce new patterns. The key is consistency. Each time you redirect your focus from a fearful thought to a peaceful one, you're weakening the old connection and strengthening a new one. This isn't wishful thinking, it's biology. You're not forcing change from the outside in, you're allowing it to emerge from the inside out by changing your brain's blueprint. The more deliberate your focus becomes, the more empowered you are to shape your emotional life and your future experiences.
Elevated emotions are the gateway to healing. When we experience emotions such as gratitude, love, compassion, joy, and inspiration, we are not just feeling better, we are shifting the entire chemistry of our bodies and altering the frequency of our energy field. These states are not accidental or random. They can be generated intentionally, and when practiced consistently, they begin to override the lower survival-based emotions that fuel fear and anxiety. Most people live in a constant loop of stress and reactivity, where the body becomes addicted to emotions like worry, frustration, and fear. These emotions release stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which over time wear down the nervous system, weaken the immune system, and keep the mind locked in cycles of protection and defense. But when you deliberately cultivate elevated emotions, you begin to break this cycle. The body moves out of survival mode and into a state of growth and repair. Gratitude, for example, is one of the most powerful emotions for rewiring the brain and changing your internal environment. When you feel grateful, even for something that hasn't happened yet, your brain begins to believe the future you're imagining is already real. This creates coherence between your brain and heart, allowing the body to trust the present moment and let go of fear. The mind is no longer scanning for threats, it is creating possibilities. Love and compassion open the heart, which has its own electromagnetic field far stronger than the brain's. When your heart and brain are in sync, you enter a state known as coherence, where the body functions in harmony and healing becomes not only possible, but natural. You don't need to wait for something outside of you to change in order to feel these emotions. You can generate them from within by focusing your attention, breathing with intention, and connecting with your desired future as if it's already unfolding. The emotional signature of your future must match your intention, or else the body will remain stuck in the past. Elevated emotions shift your energy, and energy is the currency of transformation. The more you practice stepping into these higher emotional states, the more your biology begins to reflect your intentions. Over time, fear and anxiety lose their grip because your emotional baseline has risen to a level where healing, creativity, and intuition naturally thrive.
Living in the present moment breaks the cycle of fear. Fear and anxiety are almost always rooted in either the past or the future. The mind replays old memories, projecting past pain into the present, or it imagines worst-case scenarios that haven't happened yet. In both cases, the body responds as if the threat is real, flooding the system with stress hormones and reinforcing a state of survival. But when you bring your awareness fully into the now, something powerful happens. The body and mind begin to relax. The present moment is the only place where true change can occur because it's the only place where life actually exists. When you are fully present, you're not reacting to a memory or anticipating a problem. You are simply being. In that space of being, the body can begin to trust again. The nervous system shifts from the sympathetic fight or flight mode to the parasympathetic rest and restore state. This is where healing begins. The present moment also allows you to witness your thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them. You start to see patterns as they arise, giving you the power to choose a different response. When you observe yourself with awareness, without judgment, you are no longer acting unconsciously, you are creating consciously. Most people think they need something external to change before they can feel peace, but the truth is that peace is a state you can access anytime you choose to return to the now. Breathing is one of the most direct ways to do this. Your breath is always in the present, and by anchoring your attention to it, you train your mind to return from the chaotic noise of the past and future. Meditation and mindfulness are tools that strengthen this ability. Over time, the more you practice presence, the more natural it becomes. You begin to notice when your mind is drifting into fear or replaying old stories, and you gently guide it back. Each moment spent in the now weakens the momentum of those old emotional patterns. The brain begins to wire new connections based on observation, presence, and intention rather than fear, defense, and control. You are no longer caught in a loop. You are stepping into choice. In presence, you are not trying to escape anything. You are meeting life directly, with openness and clarity, and this is where transformation begins every single time.
Your future self is created by the choices you make now. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take is shaping the version of you that you will meet tomorrow. The future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you are constantly influencing through your inner state. Most people unconsciously repeat the past because they wake up thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and taking the same actions as the day before. This creates a predictable future, one that looks and feels just like the past. But when you begin to make different choices in the present moment, when you choose new thoughts, new emotions, and new behaviors, you start to signal a new future into being. Change doesn't happen in the future. It happens when you align your present choices with the version of you that already exists in your mind and heart. If you want to become more peaceful, more confident, more free from fear, you have to begin making decisions as if you already are that person. That means choosing thoughts that reflect calm, practicing emotions like trust and courage, and behaving in ways that support that new identity. Your brain and body are always listening. They are responding to your focus and your repetition. When you consistently choose the state you want to embody, your inner chemistry begins to shift. Your brain fires new neural networks, and your body begins to memorize a new emotional baseline.
Eventually, what once felt unnatural becomes familiar, and the identity you once imagined becomes the one you live. It's not about waiting for the right moment or for external circumstances to change. The moment is now, and your power is in the now. Every time you catch yourself reacting from an old pattern and instead choose presence, you're rewriting your future. Every time you feel fear and move forward with intention, you're strengthening the future self who lives beyond fear. This process is not about forcing change, but about aligning with the possibility that already exists within you. You are not trying to become someone else. You're remembering who you truly are beneath the layers of survival, doubt, and conditioning. And each present choice is a vote for that deeper truth to become your lived reality.